What's up guys? Today's video combines three of your favorite things: fish, water, and Will Smith. If you're allergic to fish, can't swim, or just hate blacks, boy did you click on the wrong video. Not only does this movie have people of different color voicing a variety of anthropomorphic sea creatures, they also have a vegan shark that was vegan way before it was cool to be vegan, and this movie shows that firsthand.
I'm a vegetarian.
I remember back in '03, if you were vegan, that gave people the legal right to assault you. That is, until the hippies moved in. But hippies are for a whole nother video. Today we're taking a look at an underwater classic that sadly does not star David Hasselhoff.
I'm gonna get you promise you're not gonna get alcohol, and you're gonna stop drinking. Tell me right now.
I think that was the wrong video. Anyway, let's get right into it. So the movie starts out with Dory trying to remember her way home the way her parents taught her, but when nighttime comes and Dory still can't figure it out, her mom starts crying because she thinks her kid's damn near retarded.
Do you think that she can make it on her own, Charlie?
And Dory only confirms their assumptions when she gets too close to a strong current that sucks her up and shoots her back out into the ocean away from her parents. The movie then jumps forward when I'm assuming is a couple years, I don't know how fast fish grow, but Dory is still looking for her parents, not knowing that she swam all the way across the world. But while doing so, she bumps into Marlin, who seems to have misplaced his son.
No, he's gone.
It's all right.
He's gone.
It'll be okay.
No.
And while Marlin begs Dory not to call CPS, she's too stupid to realize what's going on and offers to help. So they go off, and in no time, they find his son.
Follow me!
Thank you so much.
Now apparently we're even further into the future, this time only a year, but Dory has since given up the search for her parents and has now claimed Marlin as her legal guardian.
Hey, Marlin.
And we're up. That's it. Ready to start the day.
And at first Marlin was like, rent's not free, it's either ass, gas, or grass. And Dory's like, you don't have a car. And Marlin's like, I don't see any grass either. But later when they drop Nemo off at school, Dory's like, there was grass right here. But before she could say anything, a group of stingrays swims by and sucks her up, giving her some PTSD. And after when she comes to, all that's on her mind now is finding her parents. She's completely forgotten about Marlin's sexual advances. Wanting to keep it that way, Marlin agrees to help her find her parents, as long as what happens between them stays between them, Vegas style. Already forgot about what happened though, all she could focus on is her childhood address.
Did you live in Morro Bay, California? My family!
And with no hesitation, they get a ride from the highest Disney character ever, and in no time, they're in California, baby, where the waters are filled with plastic and Sigourney Weaver is played over a loudspeaker 24/7.
Hello?
I'm Sigourney Weaver.
They do, however, show the efforts we humans do to keep the place clean, as Dory is picked up out of the ocean and put into an ice chest for further consumption.
Let's take her inside and see how she does.
Mission failed.
But without any hesitation, Idris Elba lets Marlin know that this ain't a restaurant, it's the Marine Life Institute, and Dory is going to be treated in a building called Quarantine and then released.
Sigourney Weaver says she'll be rescued, rehabilitated, and released.
She'll be in and out in a jiff.
Marlin, being a fish with logic, is like, okay, cool guy, how the fuck do I get up there? And Idris is like, just ask the only black girl named Becky for a ride.
Hi, Becky. Ow.
And while Becky is flying them to Quarantine, Dory has managed to already escape with an octopus and is with the whales already plotting her escape. And seeing as that whales are some of the smartest animals on the planet, you know the plan they give her to reunite with her parents works, and she's reunited with them at last. But since Marlin didn't know that incredibly interesting fact, he's now on a truck headed for Cleveland. Cleveland. But once again, the whales come through and are like, if Dory and Octopussy steal that truck, cause major traffic accidents, and then drive that shit off a fucking cliff, then maybe, and only then, I think your friends will be free. And since fish can't be prosecuted to the full extent of the law, they do exactly that, releasing hundreds of fish back into the ocean, probably killing all of them since they were most likely taken from halfway around the world. Nonetheless, we get a big ol' happy family reunion. Now, after they return home and you think shit couldn't get any worse, well, while Marlin's keeping an eye on Dory, his son gets kidnapped by humans, but this time, they ain't going to Cleveland. They're going to right Spoilers, never mind, I'm not supposed to tell you that. Not knowing what to do, Marlin gets desperate and calls his cousin Oscar for help. Oscar's your typical big city drug dealer who uses a fake business as a front to sell his drugs. And after he gets the call about his nephew, he decides he's gonna go talk to his connections in the mob to see if any other rival gangs have kidnapped any kids recently. Knowing that Oscar is a drug dealer though and will say anything to make anyone happy, he and Dory as a precaution decide to go try to find Nemo themselves. But that immediately turns out to be the wrong decision because before Oscar has any time to get into contact with his contact that has contact with the mob, they run into another gang member from a rival gang, and he can give two shits who Oscar is.
Hello.
Meanwhile, Nemo is put into a fish tank owned by a cult leader who has trained their fish accordingly. Nemo eventually joins the cult, letting go of his past life, not knowing that his dad, uncle, and lesbian friend are on their way to save him. Which reminds me, after Marlin and Dory set off their fucking bombs, they escaped unharmed and hitch another ride on the ocean's favorite stoner. Only this time they're not going to LA, baby. They're staying local and going to Sydney, Australia. 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney to be exact. But without help from the mob, finding a lost child in the ocean is damn near impossible, so Oscar decides to take another approach, one where he gets the mob boss's son to put him directly in contact with his dad. And once that happens, the unexpected happens, because instead of killing him straight up, the mob boss wants answers.
You took Frankie away, and you turned Lenny into a dolphin!
And to be fair, if someone turned my son into a dolphin, I'd want answers too, like, for starters, did it hurt? Meanwhile, Nemo has decided that being in a cult is too much for his young body to handle, so he decides to flush himself back into the ocean, leaving the Jim Jones of fish to die like the sick, twisted, manipulating fuck he is. And after, when he finds his way back into the ocean, he decides to take a nap under a net for protection, and in no time, Marlin and Dory find him, only to speculate he's dead, but one touch of his gimpy arm and he wakes up like somebody farted in his face. As for Oscar, things didn't go so well in his meeting with the mob boss, and we see that he was kidnapped and sold to some Jamaican jellyfish to be tortured and then sexually assaulted.
Sykes is naughty. True.
Well guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this animated classic and got a big ol' fat nostalgia boner like I did. Until next time, peace.
Mine?
Get you slump punching big shit, real shit. You a little bitch, pull up, bad bitch, and we getting lit. Talk shit, bullshit, talk cash strips.